where does Daddy work at?
MCA.
And what do we do at MCA?
We make money, 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 money.
Today in America, the disparity between the haves and have-nots is worse than it's ever been. Now the top 1% of Americans, like my family and me, own roughly 40% of the country's wealth, and we share an aggregate net worth that is greater than the net worth of the bottom 90% of individuals combined. Even though the last 28 years have brought America the largest economic boom in the history of finance, most of the rewards have gone to those who were already at the top of the ladder, and they still do. Average members of the 1% now earn over $1 million a year, while a majority of Americans earn close to $35,000, which is what the average CEO earns for less than 1 day of work.
Starting here with the tale of two cities, what you have is a level of concentration of wealth probably never seen before in our history. Now, of course, you have tens of millions of workers who can't live on what they earn, and they're earning less in inflation-adjusted dollars.
There's a chart I saw recently that I can't get out of my head. A Harvard business professor and economist asked more than 5,000 Americans how they thought wealth was distributed in the United States. This is what they said they thought it was. Dividing the country into 5 rough groups of the top, bottom, and middle 20% groups, they asked people how they thought the wealth in this country was divided. Then he asked them what they thought was the ideal distribution. And 92%, that's at least 9 out of 10 of them, said it should be more like this. In other words, more equitable than they think it is. Now that fact is telling, admittedly, the notion that most Americans know that the system is already skewed unfairly. But what's most interesting to me is the reality compared to our perception. The ideal is as far removed from our perception of reality as the actual distribution is from what we think exists in this country. So ignore the ideal for a moment. Here's what we think it is again. And here is the actual distribution. Shockingly skewed. Not only do the bottom 20% and the next 20%, the bottom 40% of Americans barely have any of the wealth. I mean, it's hard to even see them on the chart. But the top 1% has more of the country's wealth than 9 out of 10 Americans believe the entire top 20% should have. Mind-blowing. But let's look at it another way, because I find this chart kind of difficult to wrap my head around. Instead, let's reduce the 311 million Americans to just a representative 100 people. Make it simple. Here they are: teachers, coaches, firefighters, construction workers, engineers, doctors, lawyers, some investment bankers, a CEO, maybe a celebrity or two. Now let's line them up according to their wealth. Poorest people on the left, wealthiest on the right, just a steady row of folks based on their net worth. We'll color code them like we did before based on which 20% quintile they fall into. Now let's reduce the total wealth of the United States, which was roughly $54 trillion in 2009, to this symbolic pile of cash. And let's distribute it among our 100 Americans. Well, here's socialism, all the wealth of the country distributed equally. We all know that won't work. We need to encourage people to work and work hard to achieve that good old American dream and keep our country moving forward. So, here's that ideal we asked everyone about. Something like this curve. This isn't too bad. We've got some incentive, as the wealthiest folks are now about 10 to 20 times better off than the poorest Americans. But hey, even the poor folks aren't actually poor, since the poverty line has stayed almost entirely off the chart. We have a super healthy middle class with a smooth transition into wealth. And yes, Republicans and Democrats alike chose this curve. 9 out of 10 people, 92%, said this was a nice, ideal distribution of America's wealth. But let's move on. This is what people think America's wealth distribution actually looks like. Not as equitable, clearly, but for me, Even this still looks pretty great. Yes, the poorest 20 to 30% are starting to suffer quite a lot compared to the ideal, and the middle class is certainly struggling more than they were, while the rich and wealthy are making roughly 100 times that of the poorest Americans and about 10 times that of the still healthy middle class. Sadly, this isn't even close to the reality. Here is the actual distribution of wealth in America. The poorest Americans don't even register. They're down to pocket change, and the middle class is barely distinguishable from the poor. In fact, even the rich between the top 10 and 20 percentile are worse off. Only the top 10% are better off. And how much better off? So much better off that the top 2 to 5% are actually off the chart at this scale. And the top 1%, this guy, well, his stack of money stretches 10 times higher than we can show. Here's his stack of cash, restacked, all by itself. This is the top 1% we've been hearing so much about. So much green in his pockets that I have to give him a whole new column of his own, because he won't fit on my chart. 1% of America has 40% of all the nation's wealth. The bottom 80%, 8 out of every 10 people, or 80 out of these 100, only has 7% between them. And this has only gotten worse in the last 20 to 30 years. While the richest 1% take home almost a quarter of the national income today, in 1976 they took home only 9%, meaning their share of income has nearly tripled in the last 30 years. The top 1% own half the country's stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. The bottom 50% of Americans own only 0.5% of these investments, which means they aren't investing. They're just scraping by. I'm sure many of these wealthy people have worked very hard for their money. But do you really believe that the CEO is working 380 times harder than his average employee? Not his lowest paid employee, not the janitor, but the average earner in his company. The average worker needs to work more than a month to earn what the CEO makes in 1 hour. We certainly don't have to go all the way to socialism to find something that is fair for hardworking Americans. We don't even have to achieve what most of us consider might be ideal. All we need to do is wake up and realize that the reality in this country is not at all what we think it is.
I'm telling you, you can make whatever kind of money you want to make. You can have whatever you want to have. You can do whatever you want to do. Like, there are no limitations. And aren't you tired? There's some of y'all out there right now. You're tired. You know, somebody telling you when to come to work. Somebody telling you when to take lunch. Somebody telling you when to do a vacation. Somebody telling you what you can and cannot do. Some of us, we were born to fly. But what I'm telling you is when you become the right person, what I mean by the right person is once you identify who you are and you begin to separate yourself from the masses and you begin to see your individuality, when you begin to see your talents, when you begin to see your personal skills, when you were created with a specific purpose, a specific design. I don't care if you was born and your parents didn't claim you, you still special. I don't care if your mama went in your life, your daddy went in your life, you are still special. When you were created, you were designed to do what nobody else can do. And I'm telling you, when you become the right person, what you do is you start separating yourself from other people. You begin to have a certain uniqueness. As long as you following other people, as long as you being a copycat, you will never ever be the best copycat in the world.
He teaches people to become millionaires. Today, hear his money-making secrets.
It was life-changing and just woke me up.
Went from 48 to 100,000 1 year.
What do the rich teach their children about money that the poor and middle class do not? Robert Kiyosaki teaches people to be millionaires. He teaches people to be millionaires. That's how he earned the nickname the millionaire school teacher. And he says that the rich have a very different way of thinking about money that anybody can learn. His book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, has been on the New York Times business bestseller list for 8 months, and his unique advice may change the way you look at your money. This is a really important show. If you like money, if you need money, if you'd like to have some money, this is a show for you. Take a look.
I've been rich and I've been poor, and I like rich much better. I found out that the secret to success is not hard work or luck I found a new way of thinking that works for me. Do you remember these here? These are nylon and Velcro surfer wallets. When I was 26, I began marketing these products worldwide, and that's how I became a millionaire before I was 30. Besides building businesses, I also invest in stocks as well as real estate. I was able to retire at the age of 47. Today, I teach other people how to build businesses or to be investors. I must say I owe much of my financial success to a man I call my rich dad, who was my childhood best friend's father. He made me realize that there's a very big difference between what the rich teach their kids about money that the poor don't teach their kids about money. My real dad, or my biological father, was the head of education for the state of Hawaii. I call him my poor dad simply because he was a high-paid government official. He made a lot of money, yet at the end of every month, he was broke. My rich dad, on the other hand, was my best friend's father, and he ultimately became one of the wealthiest men in the state of Hawaii. And by the way, my rich dad was a high school dropout. One dad had a habit of saying, "I can't afford it." My rich dad, on the other hand, forbade his son and I from ever saying, "I can't afford it." My poor dad always said, "Our house is an asset, and it's our largest investment." My rich dad said, "Your house is not an asset, it's a liability, and if it's your largest investment, you're in financial trouble." My poor dad believed in job security. He said, look for a company that had excellent pay, good benefits such as medical, vacation, and other types of perks. My rich dad said that entitlement mentality kept people financially weak and financially needy. My poor dad always said, find a safe, secure job and work your way up the corporate ladder. My rich dad said, why not just own the ladder? I decided to listen and learn from my rich dad, and the rest is history.
Well, let's go through some more of Robert's points about what he says. The rich teach their children that the poor and middle class do not. Main difference, you say, between the rich and poor lies in what we teach our children about
That's
money.
correct.
Really?
Very much so. And
it's a mentality. It's a total way of thinking, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
And it's really easy to change if you're willing to change the way you think. For instance, my poor dad was a very good man. For Japanese, he was 6'4", very smart, academic genius. But he always said to me, you know, go to school, get good grades, get a job, and work hard. Save money. And my rich dad said, well, if you want to be rich, that's not the way you do it. And instead of working for money, my rich dad taught me how to have money work hard for me. And that's why I've only had a job 4 years of my entire life. Other than that, I'm building companies or I'm investing, and that's all I'm doing.
Well, the subject of money is taught at home, not in school, you say, because most of us learn about money from our parents, and it's only good if you have a rich dad mentality.
My message to people is, you know, why struggle for money when you don't have to? You know, it's that really simple if you have good advice. The problem is money is not taught in school. And so what we do is we oftentimes follow in our parents' footsteps. We may do different jobs, but we oftentimes follow in the same financial patterns. And my rich dad used to say, you know, he says, you can't end poverty by giving somebody money. Giving a poor person money keeps them poor longer.
Yeah.
And that's what breaks my heart, because I want to help people
change the way they think about money.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
And I think one of the most important things is that I noticed between my rich dad and my poor dad was the vocabulary. My poor dad was a PhD in education, very smart man, but he had the vocabulary of a school teacher. And my rich dad had the vocabulary of a rich man. And so when I say to people, what's the first
What do you mean by vocabulary?
Well,
I know what the word means, but what kind of vocabulary?
Well, I sit around the dinner table and listen to both dads, and one would talk about algebra and geometry and trigonometry. Nothing that ever made me any money. Mm-hmm. And my rich dad would sit there and he'd talk about return on investment, assets, liabilities, discounted cash flows, etc.
And a lot of people, you know, what you just said about your house is a liability, it's not an asset. Most people think it is their biggest investment.
Yes, and that's one of the biggest middle-class traps. They say, my banker says my house is an asset. And my rich dad would say, if you can read a financial statement, you'll see, you can read that your house is actually a liability. I'm not saying don't buy a house, and I like big houses, and I like the finer things of life. Just don't call a liability an asset. And what's trapping the middle class is they're buying liabilities they think are assets.
I like what you say in the book, but this is interesting too, because I've always been a person who lived beneath my means. Now it's kind of hard to see, you know, it doesn't matter. But I've always been a person who, because I just was reading about how the Chevy Chevette was the worst car, one of the worst cars ever made, and I had one of those little tin cans because that was the thing that I could pay cash for and not have to, you know, pay interest and so forth. So I've always believed in living beneath the means until you could really afford to pay for stuff, mainly because I hate bills. Just hate bills. And you say one of the mistakes that middle class and poor people do is they try to look rich. So those are the first people to go buy the furs, the diamonds, the big TVs and all the stuff, correct?
Right. My rich dad called it looking good and going nowhere.
Love that. Yeah, my grandmother used to call it not a pot to piss in, but anyway, that's another thing. Kind of the same thing.
I'm glad you said that.
You heard that too. Okay, they'll edit that somewhere. But anyway, it's the same principle. You have all this stuff. I know when I see people out and they got all the stuff and all the things and but then when they go home, what?
They have bills.
They have bills.
And they worry and their health goes down and, you know, it's not worth it. The thing that I think most people don't realize is that there's only two kinds of money problems, basically. One's not enough money and one's too much money. And they're both problems. And you have to know how to handle too much money, as I'm sure you do right now. Otherwise, if you...
Watching it all the time. Had a bad week last week. Yeah.
But it's a different problem,
Yeah,
isn't
it's a different kind of problem, yeah.
So when you have no money, you have to have a plan to eventually have plenty of money. And then when you have plenty of money, you got to shift plans.
Yes.
And so that's why people who win the lottery all of a sudden get all this plenty of money, and they go broke again.
And overwhelmed by it.
Right, and they go because they've never understood how money worked.
Paul Rogers says he changed from a poor dad to a rich dad and now wakes up every day with a new outlook on life. Here's what Paul's story is. Paul Rogers, a divorced father of two, was making $48,000 a year as a firefighter and living paycheck to paycheck.
By the time I paid the house payment, the child support, the car payment, food and utilities, with the two kids, it was really tough.
Last year, Paul discovered Robert Kiyosaki's financial plan.
He stresses three main things. Number one, set up a home-based business. Number two, get control of your taxes. Number three, take that extra income and buy more assets with it.
He followed the steps and set up his own home-based business. It was easier than he thought and only cost him $300. With that extra income from his new home business and a pay raise from the firehouse of $300 a month, he started to buy homes that were in foreclosure.
You can purchase them under value, go in, carpet, paint them, fix them up, turn and sell them, and even make more money.
With the money he made from selling those houses, Paul bought stocks, mutual funds, IRAs, and even set up an educational account for his children.
It has changed my outlook on life because this has given me more time freedom with my kids and more financial freedom. And the best thing is my income's gone from about $48,000 to a little over $100,000 in a one-year period.
Wow.
Wow.
I bet you're impressed with yourself.
I'm impressed with Rich Dad, Poor Dad in the book. It's just an unbelievable book. You're going to have a great response from all your viewers on this.
Really, you sound like an infomercial, but we're not. So it obviously has changed your life, your outlook, and what you will now pass on to your children.
Yeah, really, the educational system that I had growing up didn't teach me about debt, credit card debt, liabilities, college loans, you know, getting that fancy car right out of school. But what Britt and Chelsea are learning now is that, hey, you know, make your money work for you, don't work for money. So it's been a big life-changing experience for me.
So what exactly, because now people are going, what exactly caused you to go from 48 to 100 in a year?
Well, that's a very good question. I think what it was, number one, I sat down and I actually wrote out what my goals were and what my dreams were, and I had never done that before. And when I actually wrote those on paper, I said to myself, well, how am I going to get there? What do I need to do? And that's what probably a lot of the viewers are going to say, yeah, this all sounds good, but tell me the answer. Well, the answer for me was I set up a home-based business. By doing so, it only cost me $300. I'm generating income from that and taking that income, buying real estate, put it in to the stock market, stuff like that. Buying more assets in my life and having my money work for me.
But you also kept your other job.
I'm still a full-time fireman. I plan on keeping that. I thoroughly enjoy my job.
Yeah. We love firemen.
Yeah. Have me on the singles show.
Yeah, I will. Wait a minute. You don't need to.
Yeah, I'm here.
You don't need a show.
Call the Oprah Show and give me a call.
Okay. So your whole life has changed?
Yeah, pretty much. I've got just a great outlook. I mean, when I wake up every day now, it's just like there's all kinds of opportunity out there. But it's really taking that first step and saying, you know, why am I here? You know, what do I want to do? Where do I want to go?
Well, one of the things you say is that the poor pay their bills first, the rich pay themselves first.
That's a really tough one, but it makes people kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Because, the richest man in Babylon says pay yourself first. But what most people do is they pay their bills first, and they never pay themselves anything. And that's a discipline I had to get into, was I always pay myself first, even when I had no money. And when I have all these bill collectors calling me, I use them as inspiration. You know what I mean?
Really?
Oh, when they're hounding, the government's hounding you, bill collectors calling, because I've been broke, so I can understand what it feels like to be broke. When those guys are calling you, instead of shrinking and going into the shell and eating my pizza, I use it as motivation to go out and make more money. So I use my bill collectors as motivation, and that's why I paid myself first, even though sometimes I wasn't paying.
What would you pay yourself?
I always bought assets. I'd buy a house, or I'd put money in the bank and things like this. But it was just a habit. Exactly what you're talking about. It's up here.
It's about changing the way you think. That's what the whole book is about.
That's it. Because we're our biggest asset, we're also our biggest liability.
We are.
Yeah, we are.
I know. I read that.
Thank you.
Okay. During the commercial break, you said what? Stand up. Say it again.
You say that you can pay yourself first, pay your bills second, but if you do that, you still can't afford to buy a house. You say you bought a house. How am I going to get somebody to loan me the money to buy a house when I can't fully pay my bills as I'm paying them now? When I'm paying the minimum payment, let's say that.
He doesn't understand the principle of pay yourself first. He's with a lot of people out there who are saying, look, I got the bill collectors calling. I'm scared to answer the phone because I don't have the money. So how am I going to now give myself money first when I got these people knocking down my door? That's what all these people are shaking their heads to. They're thinking easy for you to say from where you're sitting now.
Well, I sell. I'm a salesman. I go to work every day, and I try to sell more and more and more to make more and more money, but that money's still going to my bills, so I'm not getting called by the credit collectors.
One thing that Paul said right there, he starts a home-based business. The tax laws are written against, tax laws are not equal. And if you want, what I'm saying is, got to get educated here. So tax laws are not equal. So if you're an employee and you work harder and harder, the government's going to take 50% no matter what. So by being a business owner, which is Paul did, he has tax advantages that the middle class and poor do not have.
The taxes are the biggest expense in your life as a salesman. The more money you make, the more the government takes. So get control of your taxes first by setting up a home-based business. Take that tax savings now, pay down debt, and buy more assets in the real estate. And you said, well, I've got credit problems. I'm not going to be able to get a loan. Find a motivated seller. Find owner financing. There's all kinds of opportunities out there. Most of society, though, will watch this show and then they'll go back to just sitting at home at night. You really have to change what you're doing in your life. If you're not happy where you're at financially, you've got to do something drastically.
Just saving money and investing is not enough. There is a complete mindset that goes on. I think that's what these people who came...
Paul was saying, because we all have the mentality in this country, you work harder, it will pay off in the end. It does not, because the government always gets theirs.
Right, and then real estate is the least taxed income you can get. So when my wife and I were struggling, we saved $6,000, we bought that house. Thing went from $46,000 to $105,000. We had $50,000.
But I think when people think of real estate, they think about the house that they would want to live in. So you start out buying something that you wouldn't necessarily want, and you use that to build more income.
And that's what she did. She bought 7.
Build more income.
That's my idea. I want to buy a 3-flat, live in the basement, rent off the top two apartments, and have them pay my mortgage for me. Good. But I still need to come up with the original capital to buy the place.
That starts with paying yourself first.
Hey, Oprah.
See, that's what people should be teaching in school, because I swear to you, we've all been taught, be responsible, pay your bills first so that the people don't, call you or not harassing you and so forth. What were you going to say, Paul?
I would say I was doing with the real estate what Robert's talking about, but for $300, I set up a home-based business. Anybody in this room can do that, and you're going to save money on your taxes, number one, while you're generating income on your business. Once you've got that income coming in, you can do all the real estate that you want then. So it's really just getting out there and looking at the different opportunities. $300 investment. Can't beat it.
From ABC News, live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America with Robin Roberts and George Stephanopoulos.
Get ready for some daunting numbers. According to the National Coalition on Healthcare, American families spent an average of $6,000 out of pocket on health insurance and other medical costs in 2009, and that's a number expected to rise to $9,000 by 2012. So in today's edition of America's Money, we asked financial contributor Melody Hobson, president of Ariel Investments, to tackle this problem, and she's come up with at least 5 ways to cut costs without sacrificing quality of care. Hey, Melody, this is important stuff here. And the first tip is something that I hadn't heard about before: discount clubs for healthcare.
That's right. These are discount medical plans. Think of it like a Sam's Club or a Costco, but for medical plans. You pay a monthly fee, somewhere in the neighborhood of $12 to $30, to cover your entire household. And you get discounts on everything from vision to dentists to chiropractors to pharmacy drugs to a host of doctors. You save a significant amount of money. Now, here is what I must underscore. This is not insurance. So you don't pay a premium, you don't pay a deductible, you can't be denied. You pay the cost out of pocket, and you can save some significant money.
MCA is a suite of valuable services. These services include emergency roadside services, travel, professional legal, and health services. There are a lot more amazing benefits and services that MCA offers, which we'll discuss later in the presentation. But first, let's talk about the history of Motor Club of America. You see, back in 1926, the Green brothers of New Jersey founded a motor club. Due to the increasing popularity of automobiles, the Green brothers discovered that people needed some type of emergency service to assist them with various roadside vehicle problems. For years, they provided these services all over the state of New Jersey. Later, they even started offering affordable automobile insurance to their customers. So in 1933, the Automobile Association of New Jersey was incorporated. The company also started attracting members beyond New Jersey as it created operations in 13 other states. As a result of the nationwide expansion, in 1958, the name was changed to Motor Club of America. Let's fast forward several decades. In 1987, the company TVC Marketing Incorporated was founded, headed up by CEO Mr. Virgil Coffey. Mr. Coffey was the mastermind behind the marketing and compensation plan for the original Prepaid Legal Services Incorporated company. TVC Marketing Incorporated originally offered emergency roadside services for truck drivers and businesses. To expand their business beyond the commercial sector, several years ago, TVC Marketing Incorporated purchased Motor Club of America with the plan to offer affordable emergency roadside services to the general public. TVC Marketing Incorporated then redesigned a very comprehensive new service to protect the many aspects of our lives. So in October 2011, a new Motor Club of America service was launched. Today, TVC Marketing's home office is located in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and currently there are over 9 million and growing MCA members in the United States and Canada. We have 250 trained customer service reps that support our members 24/7, 365 days a year. Plus, today TVC Marketing Incorporated /MCA has a B- rating with the Better Business Bureau. At the moment, we are looking for new independent sales associates wanting to earn a significant part-time or full-time income selling the MCA service. So I know you're wondering, how does the MCA service work and why is it so popular? Let's find out. Introducing the MCA Total Security Motor Club package. This plan gives you total security for our busy lifestyle. So what comes with this package? Of course, you receive emergency roadside assistance. This includes 24/7 sign and go dispatch service with towing up to 100 miles to the destination of your choice, or just call the provider of your choice for up to $100 in reimbursement. In addition to that, you also receive services like battery boost, fuel delivery, tire change, lockout services, and you also get up to $100 for emergency roadside services if you own an RV, motorcycle, boat, pickup truck over 1 ton like a dually, and even trailers. When any vehicle you are driving is disabled due to an accident, MCA also provides travel assistance reimbursement. You'll receive up to $500 for a rent-a-car or up to $500 for lodging, meals, and transportation when more than 50 miles away from home. You also get access to MCA's professional travel service and discounts when traveling in the United States or Canada. You'll get benefits such as detailed routing, maps and brochures, airline reservations, car rentals, and hotel discounts. Nobody likes to see this guy leaning over your car window. Well, MCA gives you an arrest bond certificate that you can keep in your wallet or purse. You see, your MCA membership card will be accepted as a $500 cash bond when involved in traffic violations. Plus, receive up to $25,000 for bail bond release when you are driving a vehicle and are charged with a covered moving traffic violation, including manslaughter and negligent homicide. In addition, you also receive up to $2,000 in attorney's fees for criminal charges such as negligent homicide or manslaughter arising from a covered traffic violation, and up to $200 for moving traffic violations. The MCA Total Security Motor Club package also includes a $5,000 stolen vehicle reward. The reward will be paid to the law enforcement agency or individual responsible for the information leading to the arrest and conviction of the thief. We all know identity theft is very prevalent in today's society. MCA will reimburse you for the financial loss, which you sustain as a result of the loss or theft of your credit card or cards registered with us at the time of the loss or theft, up to a total maximum of $1,000. MCA also provides a stolen livestock reward. Members receive up to a $500 reward paid to the law enforcement agency or individual responsible for the information leading to the arrest and conviction of the member's livestock, saddle track, trailers, tractors, and farm equipment. Motor Club of America also offers its members various medical discounts that deliver huge savings. Members receive major discounts on pharmacy, vision and dental services such as discounts up to 60% on prescription drugs, vision care, and up to 50% on savings on general dental fees. We all know that accidents happen every day. With MCA, you are covered 24 hours a day whenever you are injured in a covered accident and hospitalized as a result of your injuries. These include accidents at home, work, in town, around the corner, and even out of state. You see, you'll receive up to $500 in emergency cash paid directly to you for emergency room or trauma center treatments like casts, lab works, anesthetics, IVs, and much more. In addition, you'll also receive $150 per day beginning the first day you are hospitalized as a result of your covered accident for up to 365 consecutive days, totaling $54,750. You see, having this benefit alone is definitely worth having the service. MCA also provides a $10,000 accidental death benefit paid to your estate as a direct result from your injuries received in that accident. As a member, you may also enroll free of charge in one of the accidental death and dismemberment coverage benefits to suit your needs. If you just want to enroll yourself, you get up to $50,000 in coverage. If you enroll yourself and your spouse, you both get $25,000 in coverage. If you decide to enroll your entire family, you can get up to $30,000, your spouse can get up to $15,000, and your children can get up to $3,500 each in coverage. Zurich Insurance provides this benefit, which is one of the world's largest insurance companies. Wow, those are some amazing benefits that MCA provides its members. We're talking over $150,000 worth of benefits and services. I'm sure you're wondering, well, how much would it cost to get that type of access and coverage? What if it was $1,000 to get started on the plan? Would it be worth it? I think it would be. How about $5,000? Well, guess what? It's only $40 to enroll on the MCA Total Security Club package. Then it's just $20 a month.
Guys, the list goes on and on and on. We could sit on the phone for about an hour just talking about the benefits. Can you see why over 9 million people are getting these memberships and keeping them. Now they have various levels of membership. They have a platinum plan, which now is the latest new membership, and a lot of people are getting that membership. Now if you share this membership with someone, remember we said every time that you refer a person, they get a membership, you earn an $80 commission. Most people are sharing it with as many people as they possibly can. In fact, we have some people selling as many as 30 to 50 memberships per week. Can you imagine making $80 per person? Now, the beauty is, as those individuals are sharing it with other people, you're making additional commissions when that happens. But the main thing that everybody is really getting excited about is the retirement matrix. You see, without selling memberships, you literally can still get in position to earn up to $7,572. It is absolutely amazing because it's positioned in what we call a 3x8 matrix. You see, when you join the matrix for the $39.99 a month plan, you'll be able to get help from people that are selling memberships even if you're not selling a single membership. And what that literally means is, as they continue to sell memberships, because of the matrix structure, some of the memberships that they sell can actually land underneath you. In fact, you have three retirement, what we call matrix positions underneath you. Once those are filled, as other people continue to come in, they're going to start falling below those individuals. And as that happens, as it fills up, even without you selling any memberships, you still could earn up to $7,572 per month. Now, we've got people who literally are not only excited about this opportunity, but sometimes you're going to want to go out and share it with someone. And so as you do that, every time you share it with someone, you make $80, of course. And you're also going to get an additional 100% check match on what that person makes in his matrix. Guys, that's absolutely incredible. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that. But I want to tell you about a gentleman that's in our downline, and this just absolutely blew me away. You know, all he said is he just wanted the membership. He wanted the benefits. So he joined the matrix. His first month, he didn't go out and sell to anyone. And then his second month came along. He did not go out and sell any memberships to anyone in his matrix. There was no one in his matrix at all. But on his third month, what happened was really amazing. His early retirement income started. You see, he knew that whether he sold a membership at all or not, that there were people who were out selling memberships that were in the company already. And because they were out selling memberships, he knew that eventually some of those memberships can actually fall underneath him, and that's exactly what happened. See, someone who was in the company or in the matrix before him went out and sold a membership. That membership fell underneath him or was placed underneath him. Now, that person that sold that membership received $80. They went out and they started selling memberships like crazy. Why? Because they're getting the additional $80. Now, bear in mind, while this gentleman was still sitting there enjoying his benefits, all of this started to build underneath him. And in a 2-week period, which was really amazing, the one gentleman that was placed underneath him had sold over 50 memberships. There's now a total of more than 200 people in the entire matrix, and it's just growing by leaps and bounds every single day. And that person that fell there, guys, the one that sold the 50 memberships, that means that he has now over 50 check matches that are coming. So our good guy there that was on the couch, guys, he's still sitting down, but now he's sitting on top of retirement income. Because every single month, as these individuals have their membership, even though he didn't know any of them, he now starts to receive residual income every single month off of that. That's why the matrix is so powerful. You see, everyone realizes that if they go out and they share this membership with people, not only are they going to make the $80, but they're also going to receive a 100% check match off of what these individuals make in their matrix. And if you just personally share this with 3 people and they filled their matrix, why, folks, you can earn up to $30,000 per month. You know, what happens is this company pays a second generation 100% check match. So if you just shared this with 3, and let's say those 3 shared it with 3 each, and now they all went out and filled their matrix, you could be earning up to $98,000 per month.
scam, right? Hold on, wait. Motor Club is a scam, right? That's hilarious. What is this? Mack truck came all the way to my house. Hard-working man. About to pull this big thing up here. You see the car didn't work, so you see we're covered pretty much. $19.95 a month. I get to make money, $80 for telling somebody about this service.
$20 people you refer, 80 times 20, you know? So you do the math. So you can get paid a lot of money. A lot of people right now are getting paid like thousands of dollars. So I really love this business. It's really easy and simple.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 720, 740, 760, 780. There's the change, baby. It's real, guys. It's real. I'm telling you. Sign up. All right, people. I got my membership documents shipped to me. Just wanted to make sure the Motor Club benefits, actually. So this is my packet. This has everything that you bought. Yeah, I mean, card, got some stickers and everything that you need. So take action now, people. I'm telling you, if you take action now, you start making money. Look at all this money I just made in 1 week, barely doing anything. Made all this. Barely doing anything.
I've been with Motor Club of America for a little over a month now. I have made over $800, I think almost into the 900s now. And what associates do is we advertise MCA and we enroll other people into MCA. All I do is post ads on Facebook really and talk about MCA on my Facebook status. I mean, it's really simple. I do it part-time. There's residual income. You make money off of your signups. You make $6 each for each one of them. There's bonuses. I mean, it's really awesome. This will be my 5th check coming in just for talking to people about MCA.
One question I'm always asked about Motor Club of America's amazing business opportunity is it really worth it? My answer? Yes. Cha-ching! And remember, Motor Club of America is a reputable program. They've been around for 86 years. Your customers will enjoy the security and protection of one of the most comprehensive auto club benefits programs in America. And you're going to be rich. Believe me, you don't want to miss out on this opportunity.
Cha-ching! Pay to the order of me. You see what's going on. I just cashed a check. There's no more proof that I can show you guys. There's really nothing more to say. Nothing.
This company has been in business since 1926. Do you realize that is 86 years of continued successful operation with over 9 million members already to date?
It was a flight that could have cost them tens of thousands of dollars. Instead, Daniel and Bernice Barrow of Mount Airy paid $36 for a medevac flight from Las Vegas to Northeast Philadelphia Airport.
Right now he can't walk on his own. He's been in the bed since he's been in the hospital.
Their ordeal began on September 13th. That's when Daniel became ill and was hospitalized with kidney failure. And what should have been a 2-week vacation turned into 3 weeks in a Vegas hospital.
I would have just been there until he was able to get on a regular plane.
Doctors said Barrow could not take a commercial flight. Their only choice was a medical flight, but the cost was through the roof.
Anywhere between $16,000 and $20,000. So then we went dollars exactly.
A family friend reminded them that they had signed up 2 months ago with the National Motor Club of America.
The last 5 weeks, I've made over $9,000 with Motor Club of America. I'm almost near $10,000 with my sales this week. And I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Here's my TBC Matrix back office. And basically right here is going to show all my sales. You can do it by date. But up to date, as far as 7/14, it's close to 9,000. Then you gotta add in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Over another 17 sales times 80. So I'm well over 10 grand made in 1.5 months, guys.
All right, you'll see the amounts, 2,000, 2,000, 1,900, 3,000, and then you see that it started increasing, okay, over the past month, and it really increased over the last couple of weeks.
I'm going to be receiving another check that's over $2,000 tomorrow, and I just started 3 weeks ago, guys. I'm not some expert. I'm not a guru. This is why this is why I'm putting such emphasis on just getting in this and get in on this program. It's really not hard. All right, even if you were to get 4 or 5 or 6 people for the week, you're making more, in a week than a lot of people are doing working a minimum wage job.
Check, this legitimate check is $77, and I'm going to cash it right now. I'll see you in a minute. Love you. Go, MCA.
Hey, this is Matt. I just started working for Motor Club of America, and right now I'm about to go cash my check. Here it is.
I know that this is real. Every week, a check I get in my mailbox. Every Monday, I get a check.
A couple of hours every day. I work on Facebook, and I referred 3 people to them, and got $80 for every person. This is $230 check. That's just a couple of hours.
Right there, you see it say ACH. That means direct deposit. Sent yesterday, 7/26, 2012. Sent $810.05.
Okay, and then now I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I have about another 16 signups at $80 a piece. So my first check was $160, and then now I have another 16 signups at $80 a piece. That's $1,280 check coming to me, guys.
Ron Connolly, $641. Here's the money. There it is, right there. Boom, $641, all cash, right there.
Now this check, this is how much I made in 1 week. I made $549.24. Let me show you. $549.24.
The pastor I came in up under, he got paid, I got paid, and the guy I signed up got paid all in the same week. And if you guys can see that, the proof is in the pudding. It's $83.
Get a check from Motor Club of America every Friday if you decide to do this. All you need is a $40 investment, and that's it. It's a no-brainer.
I'm grateful that you're here. MCA brought you here, and to my information to my knowledge is that I don't have to pay.
No, you don't.
I don't have to pay.
It's fully covered.
It's fully covered. You hear that, y'all?
Fully covered.
He says fully covered.
At least $80 a day, at least $160 a day for real, and see a real check by next Friday. You think I'm playing? Look, let me pull something out. Look what I got here. Hold up. You see what's in here? See what's in here. You want this? You want this in your life? Hold up. I'm protected. Hold up. You see this? I'm protected. Look at that. I am protected. Not only do I have my roadside assistance, I have my discounts on car rentals, on hotels, on a lot of things, on prescription drugs, on dental, and I get a lot of money to refer. Tomorrow's payday. I have a $5,300 payment coming into my account. Life is good.
What's up? So last Friday I joined MCA, Motor Club of America, and guess what? I got paid today. This is 1 week that I joined MCA. And this Friday, 1 week only, okay? On a regular job, you have to wait like two weeks to get paid. 1 week, I got paid already, okay? I got paid $640, okay? $640. See this, guys? Okay? So, this is 1 week only. I got paid $640 for referring only 8 people because the company pays $80 per person.
Advantage of it today and get it checked by next Friday.
Alright, Team Chase Dreams, it's your guy Chase Dials, and I'm just gonna come to everybody to let y'all know, do not give up in y'all business. If you started a business and the compensation plan is correct and they say they're gonna pay you, don't give up on it. There's no point. You're gonna give up on your dreams. If somebody say that you can repeatedly make $80 commissions over and over again, back to back, and there's no limit to the amount of money you can make, what kind of just think about how that information impacts your brain. 90% of America are working jobs. They're giving time for money instead of making sales. Now, what do you think is better, sales or wages?
Profits are better than wages. Once I understood that, I got rich.
What's up, world? What's up, world? Now listen, this video might make a lot of you mad. Not gonna lie, you know, but I really care. I woke up this morning, it's still morning. As you hear the birds chirping, dogs barking, it's early in the morning, and I still felt, before I go on tour, I still felt that you deserve a better life. Now this video is gonna be the bomb, you best believe it, but you deserve a better life. You gotta excuse me, like I said, I just woke up, and every time I wake up, the first thing I do is I thank God. That's the first thing. Before my feet hit the ground, I thank God. Because one, I used to be broke, and now he made me. So that's a blessing. And what also I thank him for is an open mind. Most of y'all don't have a great life because y'all mind is so closed. You're still thinking about the traditional ways of making money, living life, or should I say the process. See, the process has changed. A lot of people can go to school all they want. Some people are so confused they even go back to school, get in more debt for another degree, and they couldn't even use their first degree. You know, and one thing that I realized on my journey from broke to wealth is most of these wealthy people, yeah, some of them have degrees, but they are so mad that they wasted all this time and money trying to build somebody else's dream. Quick question. You deserve a better life. If you are one of those people, and I hope I am talking to you, that claim they love their job, but every time they go to their job, they staring at the clock, texting people, I can't wait to get off. Think about this. Yeah, you might like your job, but are you going to remain there for 40 years? You might be lucky if that job keeps you for more than 20. See, most people don't understand that. Yeah, you might love your job, but companies change. And the most expensive thing for a company that you work for, your pyramid, is labor. So if that owner that doesn't care nothing about your family, you deserve a better life. This owner that does not care about your family, if his pockets and his family is not eating because of the labor you're doing to send their kids to school, if that somehow gets affected, the first thing they do to cut costs so their family can still eat is cut labor. Whoo, you deserve a better life. And I hate to tell you this, but most of us are laborers or employees or slaves or stuck in the rat race, whatever you want to do. And this is what I'm telling you guys, because you deserve a better life. Remember this. I'm not over here knocking jobs. Like I said, I used to be broke in one for 5 years. But it only took me 5 years to realize there's a difference between making money and having money. It's your boy. It's a difference. Write that down. It's a difference. Because a lot of people make money. Listen to this. Catch this. If you're not listening, catch this. A lot of people go to work all year long. And they make money all year. But they only have money during income tax time. Why is that so? Why is that so? You gotta think about that. And then you look at an opportunity that you might not understand. Listen to this, guys. You might not understand what's going on because we was taught a traditional way. This is how I know most people don't know how to make money, because there's only 3% of the U.S. who makes more than 6 figures. That means 97% of the world has followed the same system that has not made any money. Because ladies and gentlemen, in this economy, if you have one stream of income, you are in trouble. You need to call the cops on your damn self, because you are in trouble. How can you have multiple bills and only one stream of income? I ask you that. And then some of us, we would want to do more for charity, but we so broke we can't even tithe. We so poor. When the collection basket comes, we see this $20 bill and we ask for change because we so broke. You deserve a better life. And guys, let me tell you what I've been able to do real quick. Last year, we've been able to help 50 families make six-figure income all online. So if you've been looking at what I've been doing and wondering, like, I think I can post statuses, I think I can make videos, I think I can send emails, I think I can hand someone my business card if I see them while I'm out, not going door to door or none of this crazy stuff people set rumors, which brings me back to rumors. Some people think we not making money. Some people think we not making money. That's funny. Whoa, I'm waking up. I feel it in my bones. Enough to make my system blow. Welcome to the new age. Because let me tell you something. What's stopping you from making money is you are listening to somebody broke right now. You seen my website. If you haven't, go see my website. It's probably right there at the screen right there. Once you go to that website, remember, the first thing I said was have an open mind. Because if you come into this thing closed-minded, you'll still be broke. And even if you're not broke now, let me introduce the word broke. Because somebody's probably on this phone thinking, well, I'm not broke. I have money in my bank account. Well, listen, this is how you know you're broke. Because remember, there's a difference between making money and having money, guys. If you've been working on your job for 20 years, and you do not have at least $20,000 in your bank account, what that means to tell me is you have not figured out how to save at least $1,000 a year. You have not figured that out yet. And then, this is what average people do. They make excuses in their head of why they don't have money. They start saying, hey, well, I bought a house. I had a kid. They're expensive. I understand that, and that's called life. You know, the older your kids get, the more your money should grow. But if your money stays the same with the dollar devaluating, you still lose. While they're going to work, you can stay home with the kids or the husband or the wife. You know, gaining weight, grilling at 10 in the morning, everybody's at work, you grilling steaks. Whatever you want to do, you know. But listen, this was a short video to just tell you guys from the bottom of my heart, you deserve a better life. I don't care if you like this video or not. I'm going to keep dropping videos, speaking my opinion, because I'm an entrepreneur. We can do what we want, when we want, whatever city we want. So I hope this motivated somebody to get up and go get it, because we got money to make. We got people lives to free. Like Harriet Tubman said, I would have freed a lot more slaves if they would have known they were slaves. So I'll see y'all in Mexico. Come join me in Turkey, Greece. That's the only places you're going to find me, the beach, the bank, or the VIP. I'll see y'all later. Salute.